Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my videos. In today's video, as I mentioned in my latest Nitro RC car unboxing, this is the VRX RH1029. I'm going to be throwing a 2-speed gearbox and a 2-speed Pinion clutch bell housing in there for the 2-speed conversion, and while the engine's out, I'm gonna be installing this drill starter, in which I got a rod for. So I'm basically gonna use my own drill, and I pieced my own drill start kit for minimal price budget. So first off, what we'll need to do is remove the engine, and to do so, you'll need to pull the fuel line from the fuel tank going into the carb, basically going into the high-speed needle. And then once you have that out, you'll need to disconnect the throttle linkage, which is this guy right here. It's just a ball joint which should pop out pretty easily. Here you go. So ball joint onto the carb, and that's basically it for the top side to remove the engine. And then on the bottom, you'll need to remove these 4 screws, which I believe are 2mm. Okay. And when you get to your last screw, you want to hold the engine from the other side so it doesn't drop out, and that way you can actually take it out. So that was the last screw. You can see that the engine wants to come out. Let me flip it around, and since everything's disconnected, we can basically, oh, one more screw, sorry. You'll need to remove the exhaust set screw, which I believe will be a 1.5, nope, also 2mm. So once you remove that, the exhaust can come out, and then now you can see the engine. And forgot to mention the other tube from the fuel tank to the exhaust port back here. So just remember, the short tube goes back to the carb, long tube goes back to the exhaust for the back pressure. And here you go. This is the Nitro engine removed. And basically the next step that we'll do, and there you can get a better look, this is the Force 118 engine, FC18, and there's the 18 under there if you could see. But we're gonna have to remove this Allen, which is a 2mm. Let me see if I can go ahead and do that. So when you remove it, be sure to keep track of the washers that come out from here. You'll notice the order. There's a small washer, than a larger washer. Okay. So let me go ahead and remove this. Okay. There we go. Small washer, large washer. And actually, if you look, there's 3 of the larger washers, which means these are shims. So definitely keep track of these. Sorry, the focus is tough, but there's actually 3 larger ones. So make sure not to lose that. And then now we should be able to remove the pinion and clutch bell. And do not lose the bearing that you just heard drop out, because this bearing will go into our new clutch bell or our pinion. And then the inside one stayed on the shaft, which is fine because I will need to leave that one there. Okay, so here's the new one. I'm going to go ahead and open up. That out. Here's a shot of the 2. So this one looks crazy discolored, but it shouldn't affect its performance. But anyways, I'll take this guy off and I'll go ahead and slide him to there. Okay. And what I'm gonna do while I have this open is I like to apply this grease to any builds that I use, any kits that I do. This is the grease that I use. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick some on that shaft just for the bearing. Put some in there. So that tub was probably like, I don't know, I think $6 or $7. Great. But this is a fresh engine, fresh clutch. So don't need to change anything in there. I got the bearing put back, and then we'll put the outer bearing in now. Okay, spins pretty nicely. Now I'll put this screw back in there with the washers in the order they came out. Sorry, the camera mounts in the way. And actually, one thing I will do before we get to that is apply some Loctite so that doesn't come out. Okay. Loctite. There we go. Once you get this screw snug, the clutch and pinion should still spin freely. So this is pretty tight. I'm going to back it off. Okay. So spins without any resistance. And there we go. Engine side is good to go. And here's the flywheel. Got compression, so that sounds good. Okay. And then, like I mentioned, while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and remove the pull starter. And when this comes out, something to keep in mind and watch for is that there's a spring that may come flying out, so definitely remove cautiously. But to pull out the pull start, it's going to be these 4 screws. And for most of these, it is much easier to do this with the engine out of the car. So that's why it was a good time to do so. And actually, this is my first non pull start that I'm trying out. And actually, so three 2mm screws, and then we'll slide this out, and there you go. A look at the inside, one-way nut and bearing, and then the plastic housing. This will be a spare part for me to use in case I break any other pull start. But I did order these spare from eBay for I think probably $10 or $11, and this comes with the longer screws to use. And I think these, yeah. So let me set everything down. And because there's no pull start, you will get a 4th screw, which is lodged in there. There we go. Okay. You can see the back. So we're just going to line everything up to the back of the engine, like so. There we go. And actually thinking I shouldn't have any issue with orientation because this will operate the same. So let me take a look at how I want to position it on the car for easy drill access. So I'm deciding to put my drill start on the right side of the engine. It gives me more room to slide the rod through to engage that starter. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. With the provided screws that came in the kit, and I'll try to find the link on where I got these from. I did order 2 of them because I might install one on my 1/8 series that's coming in, and if I really like it, I might actually install it on all of my RCs. Sorry, I'm getting out of the shot, but I'm putting some screws to get it started. Okay. And this doesn't have to be torqued down like crazy, just snug. And I always do the diagonal pattern for easy and even tightening. So across. Yeah. Easy to over tighten because it's plastic. But there you go. And now if I rotate this, yep, it should good. I think I over tightened it. Back these off a little bit. And I might add a dab of Loctite just on the back sides. But yeah, that's not loose. Yep, spins much better. And yep, there we go. So I can hear and you can see it's spinning the motor. Very cool. So excited about that. Now, what we want to do is, so I don't want to lose the engine screws, they're down here. But the next portion of this upgrade is to remove the gearbox. And to do so, what we'll need to do is remove this brake linkage. And this will be a 1.5 millimeter set screw. Just loosen it and do not lose this piece. And what you can do is slide the servo arm back to pull the rod out, and then just go ahead and put this back on, or you can just set it aside, but I'm gonna slide it on so I don't lose it. Okay, so now everything is disconnected from the gearbox, and on the top side, now we'll go to the bottom, and the gearbox has 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can go ahead and take those out. So I used to use a drill or an impact, but I've stripped out so many of these Allens that I just do everything by hand now. And it's not a big deal. It's pretty easy to do. But anyways, let me take this. And these are probably the best set of Allens that I've used. Very precise, and they don't round out. I've rounded so many driver sets out, but this one has not given on me these sets. So I'll try to find a link of these. I got them from Amazon for I think $12. Great deal, probably the best investment if you enjoy this hobby and enjoy working on RCs. But anyways, those 4 screws came out. Let me get a shot. And what you'll notice is the front and rear dog bones are attached, so make sure you do not lose those. But when you slide them up, when you slide this gearbox up, just hold on to them, and you can just lay them down where they are, and then this pulls right out. So single speed gearbox. I'll remember that the brake is on the rear of the car, so I'll leave that there while I open up the new one. Okay, very cool, complete 2-speed. You can see how they free spin, but I'm gonna go ahead, position this. Yep, so positions right in. I'll take the old one out, slide this one in, and it's actually pinned so that it will go back, or it will stay, and then you'll actually need to hold it down while you go to the bottom, and you can go ahead and put some screws in to hold it in place. But you can see, shoot, okay, got that. Yes, But you can see that the two centers are pins that hold it in place. And then let me just get a screw started before I lose any. Okay, just got a screw started. And I'm tightening it just enough to hold it in place. And these do not require Loctite because they're going into plastic, but it doesn't hurt if you're not sure. Yeah, if you're never not sure, Loctite will not hurt. But here we go. I actually wasn't planning on doing this tonight, but that's just what happens. You kind of just get in the groove. And I got in the groove. So, fun. Okay. So I've got the fourth screw in there. And then now I can go ahead and tighten everything. Not gorilla tight, but tight enough, secure in the cross pattern so it's even. Okay. Now that our gear, shoot. So, idiot me. Sorry, I forgot to line up the dog bones. So I need to loosen all these. And actually I'm gonna see if I can do it without having to take them all out completely. I'll just back these out as much as I can without removing them. So yes, don't forget, realign and install the dog bones. So I'm pushing this up already, and hopefully this will give me just enough clearance to get them back in there. So if you can see there, yep. Just enough to get the back one in. You can see that. And then let me do the front one. There we go. So front and back, I managed to get it without having to remove all the screws, but two did come out. Not a problem. Go. I'll probably fast forward this so you guys don't have to watch. Or you could fast forward and not have to watch me. Tighten that one, and tighten here, tighten here, and here. Okay. And then next, we are going to reinstall the engine, but to do so, we do want to make sure to set our mesh correct from the pinion to the spur gear. But in order to do so, we do need to line up the engine and get it kind of set in place. So we're going to go ahead and install the screws, but we're not going to tighten it yet. We're just going to make sure that the engine's mounted but movable so that you can adjust the mesh. There we go. And something to mention is that this is actually very simple to do. It's a great way to get to know your RC, to get your hands on it and start wrenching, so definitely fun and interesting. This to me is much more interesting than a puzzle because you get to play with it afterwards. But I'm not knocking on puzzles. Everyone has their own flavor, and this happens to be mine. So, not tight, just putting them in so that the motor is still, I could still slide it. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to go back to this side and basically adjust the mesh. And we want it touching or snug enough, but just a little bit of play. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But you can see how the gears line up in there pretty nicely. There's plenty of methods on how to adjust that, but I do go off of feel. Some use a paper, but I think I'm good. But yeah, you could slide a piece of paper in there and then push the gears together and then pull the paper out, and that should give you a good mesh. But I think yes, mine is pretty solid, and I'm lining up the first gear here to the spur gear back there. I'm just checking. Yep, and that feels pretty nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up. Okay, something I probably should have done before, or actually not, but remember, long hose goes to the exhaust port, short hose goes back to your high-speed needle / carburetor, and then you'll need to go back to this side. You can go ahead and put your throttle link back on. Actually, while I have this arm moved, I will go ahead. Shoot. There you go. gonna put the brake arm back on. Sorry. Okay. So brake arm slides right back in. Put this. And I still need to adjust everything, so I'm not gonna worry about that yet because I have to dial it in. But anyways, throttle link goes right back in, and you snap it right back on. So that's on there. You can see brake and throttle working, and I think we're good, guys. So 2-speed gearbox and pinion installed. You can see the bottom side, very cool. And then you could see on the back side I have my new drill start right there, and you can see I'm just going through the back. And basically I got this rod separately, which I'm gonna use my own drill instead of buying that special drill. I don't see a reason why I need that handheld drill start that they sell for these RCs. It's a bit overpriced. I think they're like $40 when I have my standard Bosch screw drill driver that I can use. So very excited. I didn't expect to get everything thrown on so quickly, but just got in the zone like I mentioned. Hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching.